This event follows a similar ceremony that happened 3 years ago in London, when the Community of the Resurrection gifted the original Isithwalandwe medal that had been given to Trevor Huddleston in 1955 to the Huddleston Centre. At that time, this building did not exist. We had nowhere to put it, but in faith, it was received, and today you're all here to help us celebrate it coming home. This building was very much a dream. Cultural people here, Mr. Gwangwa, Abigail Kubeka, others helped us literally dig the foundations to this building. You'll remember out with your hard hats and your spade. And so it's really been a journey of love, a journey of faith, and of commitment from everybody. Many, many of you are here. So we're receiving the medal today, and we are, I think, honouring it. We're housing it so that it can be seen by many, many South Africans, to be reminded of the path that Father Huddleston trod and that all of you have trod to get here. And we're here also to give thanks.
I'll ask you to join me in the prayer that is attributed to Trevor Huddleston. God bless Africa, guard her children, guide her leaders, and give her peace. Amen. Thank you.
It's a great honor and a great privilege for me to say a few words here this evening. And I'd like to thank Tricia and Archbishop Esme and others, and all those who made this great place possible. I think Trevor would have been very surprised, but very pleased, even more by the kind of work that is being done in his name through this home of his. Now, Trevor loved children. And he said to me one day, we have to run a conference. We arranged a conference, used the name of another trust we had, which was for another priest, Ambrose Reeves. And under Ambrose Reeves Trust, which we also ran through the anti-apartheid movement, we organized an international conference in Harare in 1987 to focus on children. Conference on Children, Repression and the Law, as we called it. That conference is the first time ever in the history of South Africa that the internal leadership met the external leadership. Oliver Tambo, Joe Slovo, all these people that people here had heard of, because some of the young people had never seen them, met them for the first time. And as we stayed in those hotels, we couldn't sleep. As we went from one floor to another, people wanted to talk to you. So for 2-3 nights, no one slept, just talked all the time, because it was such a fantastic gathering of South Africans in Harare. Anyway, the conference was over, children gave testimony. Trevor said we should do something further about it. So Victoria Britton, a noted journalist in the Guardian newspaper, and I were asked to write a book which gave the evidence of the children, and that was published in 1988. He gave, as I said, great dignity to the anti-apartheid movement. He was a moral crusader without equal. And during the 80s, he helped us to build the anti-apartheid movement into the biggest solidarity movement in Europe, and indeed the world. And together, working with the Union, Iowa Youth, Non-Aligned Movement, and others, we were able to mobilize the world for, of course, the end of apartheid. Many people may not know that when Canon Collins passed away in December 82, Trevor Huddleston also took his place in the International Defence and Aid Fund. So he was working for the Defence and Aid Fund and the anti-apartheid movement at the same time. Trevor Huddleston, of course, passed away. I was working for the South African government. Deputy President Thabo Mbeki instructed us, Minister Nzo and myself, to go to London. I had been to London for his funeral and all that, of course. And Thabo Mbeki had arranged that I'm able to do that, together with my other work in the Foreign Ministry at the time. But I went for all those events. And then we brought back his ashes. And Deputy President Mbeki arranged for the military to be at the airport. His ashes were taken with proper protocol from the airport. And then in the church, here, not far, the same church that Trevor had been in for years, Thabo Mbeki presented for Trevor Huddleston a South African National Award. Now, we're talking of a time, July 1998, when there were no new national awards. We didn't have the O.R. Tambo Companion or the Mandela Awards or other awards. So this was an award that existed at the time for the official government of South Africa. The Deputy President felt that we need to bestow that award, an award. So I was left with the award because I was asked to receive it. None of his family could be brought here or anything. And the Community of the Resurrection in Murfield said that I should do that. So this is that award. There are 3 pieces. We will try to ensure that the presidency also bestows on him one of the more recent awards, which will be appropriate, but that does not take away the significance of this. That when there wasn't another new award yet, because people were working it, an award had to be conferred posthumously, not that far away, after his passing, for Trevor Huddleston. And I would like to give this here today to His Grace the Archbishop, so that it can become, amongst others, one of the proud possessions of this great center that has been developed by everyone who's worked for Trevor Huddleston's memory to building this year.
Africa winner, Africa winner. Love yourself now, yeah. Africa winner, Africa winner. Love yourself now. Ginebalelisa mina, ngiyaziqhenya,
Let me tell you that every chapter that Father Huddleston wrote in his book, Not for Your Comfort, I went through it before it became what he wanted it to be. I used to spend many hours with him, and we say, Norman, this is the chapter that I've written. Can you go through it? And do you think it is appropriate? Every chapter. When Trevor finished the book and he was informed that he was going to be raided, he removed the book and sent it to Alan Payton and Kloof for safety. And that is how, in fact, his book was published before it could have been impounded.
It is a privilege to be a patron of the center, and congratulations to Tricia, to the board members for taking this idea. Just briefly, that started in 1999 when, after we had buried Trevor Huddleston, we quickly concocted some brochures and we went and approached Mam Zanele then, and then we got our first 500 rands to start this idea, and the rest is history. So thank you so much for that. And I think at the heart of the center is a call, an imperative for us to support young people in practical ways by example and with tangible programs which are relevant for their needs. As Father Huddleston supported those in his care 70 years ago, so we are called to follow that example. The medal that we will see today is an example of that call. It has come home to South Africa to remind us that courage, commitment, care, and of course, love of one another is our calling under God and under our Constitution. We do this so that we can live in peace with one another and the world. We have heard that this medal was given to Trevor Huddleston in 1955, and with beautiful inscriptions of his determination to ensure that no one was demeaned, no one was undermined, and every person was respected. And it has come rightfully back at home. And as I said in my little remarks, to remind us that the road ahead is still very long. And we need to commit tonight to ensuring that these young artists are taken care of, the childcares in Alexander are taken care of. So let's have the courage to make a difference in our time. And so I hand the medal to Mrs. Mbeki to hand it over to the center.
This message comes from Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa on the commemoration of the award of Isithwalandwe to Father Trevor Huddleston, Sophiatown. Through his book, Naught for Your Comfort, he brought to the attention of many people across the world the crime against humanity known as apartheid. In his book, he speaks hauntingly about his regret that people of his faith could allow themselves to suffer such a remarkable dearth of conscience. Father Huddleston became, through his identification with the South African people, a true citizen of this country, an outstanding example what it means to be of service to humanity.